Hello students and welcome for today's class. I am Mrs. Vilma Martis from Dr. Kalmadi Shamrao High School, Kannada Medium, Pune. Today we are going to learn a lesson from Standard 8th, Unit 2, Subunit 2.2, The House Builder. We will learn this lesson using a PowerPoint presentation. Let's see some good people who are working for mankind and they are known by their work. Architect. He plans and designs the structure. Who is an engineer? Engineer ensures structure will be strong and stable. Building contractor. He supervises construction, employs workers, professionals, etc. Carpenter. Make wooden framework of doors, windows, etc. Mason. Builds walls, roof, etc. and plasters. Tiler. He does the flooring. Interior decorator. So when the house is built, inside the house, he beautifies the home. Let's begin with the story. The House Builder. This is a story of a mason who worked for a building contractor. The mason always strove to do his work to perfection. As soon as a house had been designed by the architect and details finalized by the engineer, the contractor would send for the mason and leave the responsibility of building the house to him. The mason would then, without wasting any time, start his work. He would take great interest in his work of building and do it with full dedication. He made sure that he used the best construction material of high quality. The measurements of the walls, doorways, arches, etc. were perfect, and he gave an excellent and appealing finish to whatever he built. The owners of the new houses built would be more than satisfied with the construction. Now listen students, the mason was a perfectionist. He did his work with full dedication. As soon as he was asked to do some work by his contractor, without wasting any time, he would start his work, take great interest in his work of building the house. And he made sure that he used the best construction material and of high quality. And he was very perfect with the measurements of the walls, doorways, arches, etc. And he wanted his work to be perfect by giving it an excellent and appealing finish. And after the house was built, the owners of the new houses, they were more than satisfied with the construction. Because of the zeal, diligence, loyalty, and persistence that he displayed in his work, the mason was in great demand and fetched good business to his contractor. Subsequently, the contractor recompensed the mason handsomely with a very good salary. He could meet the needs of his family sufficiently without any scarcity. The mason thus continued working with great devotion for many years till he became a grandfather. Then he decided that it was time to retire and spend time playing with his grandchildren. Being a firm-minded person, he informed his contractor of his decision to retire from house building. The contractor was very disheartened to lose such an excellent workman and urged the mason to continue his job, but to no avail. The mason had made up his mind and refused to carry on. Now, children, the zeal, the diligence, loyalty, and persistence that the mason displayed in his work gave him many opportunities, and he also fetched good business to his contract. Because of this, the contractor was happy and he recompensed the mason with a very good salary. So the mason had no problem and he could meet the needs of his family sufficiently without any problem. There was no scarcity. The mason continued his work with great devotion for many years. And now he became a grandfather, he had grandchildren, and he decided that it was time to retire and he wanted to play and spend time with his grandchildren. And he was a firm-minded person. And he informed his contractor of his decision. He wanted to retire from house building. And of course, the contractor was very disheartened. He didn't want to lose the excellent workman he had. And he urged the mason to continue his job, but the mason was firm in his decision and he had made up his mind and refused to carry on with this work. Finally, the contractor convinced the mason to build one last house on a beautiful and convenient site as a special favor. The mason agreed to do so with great reluctance, not too happily either. The construction started. It was a most beautifully designed house to be built at a sought-after location. However, the mason could not put his mind and heart in his work. He did his work very roughly and carelessly, without interest or dedication. Even the building material used was of low quality, but he did not care. He simply wanted to complete the job in haste and finally retire. Now, children, the contractor convinces the mason to build the last one house, and it was planned on a beautiful and convenient site. And he asked the mason for this special favor to build this last house before he retires. The mason agreed to do so. He was not happy. He did it with great reluctance. The construction started. It was a most beautifully designed house to be built at a sought after location, a very beautiful and a convenient site. However, the mason could not put his mind and heart in his work. He was firm in his decision. Previously, we know that he is to do his work with perfection. But now, the mason could not put his mind and heart in his work. So the work done was very rough and careless. He did his work very roughly and carelessly, without interest or dedication. Now he did not care about the material used. Even the building material used was of low quality, but he did not care. He simply wanted to complete the job. He simply wanted to finish it off in haste, and he wanted to finally retire. The house was ready earlier than expected. Roughly made structures, weak walls, poor finish, and did not look as good at all as designed. Yet, the mason did not care. He informed the contractor that the house was ready and he was waiting to hand over its keys to him. The house was ready earlier than expected because it was done in a careless manner, isn't it? So, the structures were roughly made and the walls were weak and the finish was very poor and did not look as good at all as designed. Children, it was a beautifully designed house, but because of the construction, it was not looking good at all. Yet the mason did not care. The mason did not care. He informed the contractor that the house was ready and he was waiting to hand over it. Once, hand over the keys to the contractor. The contractor arrived at the site. He had a file of legal documents in his hand. The mason handed over the new house's keys to him. But the contractor did not step forward to enter the house to see it. Instead, with a broad smile, he handed over the file along with the house keys to the mason and said, beaming happy tone, "These are the ownership documents of this new house in your name. The house is yours. I had planned it as a gift for you." Children, when the contractor arrived at the site, he came with a file of legal documents in his hand. And the mason wanted to hand over the keys to the contractor. And now, the contractor did not step forward to enter the house to see it, because for so many years he has seen the work done by the mason. So he was having full faith on this mason. Instead, what he did? The contractor, with a broad smile, handed over the file which had the legal documents, He handed over the file along with the house keys to the mason. And in a happy tone, he said, "These are the ownership documents of this new house in your name." And the house was given as a gift for the mason. So, I hope you understood the story. Now, children, we will see some activities. Here we have an activity on homophones. What are homophones? We have these words in the text. Once again, when you read it, you will find these words in the lesson. Now, homophones, they are the words that have the same sound or pronunciation but differ in spellings and meanings. What they are called? They are called homophones. Example, H-A-I-R, hair, and hair. Spelling is different, meaning also is different. Hair, H-A-I-R, hair, and H-A-R-E, we say rabbit. Now, we have some words here. You have to pick out from the lesson homophones for the following words. So, the word given here is waste. Okay? So, homophone for this will be waste. W-A-S-T-E. New. N-E-W. New. It sounds the same but differs in spelling and meaning. L-O-S-E, lose. L-O-O-S-E, lose. Made. M-A-D-E, made. Great. And G-R-E-A-T, great. Okay. Choose the proper phrase, expression to complete the sentences meaningfully. Here in the bracket you find some phrases or expressions. You will try to fill them in the blanks. To send for, with full dedication, in great demand, to meet the needs of, make up one's mind, to no avail, to hand over. So see the first fill in the blank. She does her job. What will be the answer? With full dedication. One should dare to help others when needed. Make up one's mind. As Mr. Zadu was transferred to Chennai, he had dashed responsibilities to his assistant. As Mr. Zadu was transferred to Chennai, he had to hand over his responsibilities to his assistant. The labor's income was not sufficient to meet the needs of his family. Because of a fault in the wiring, they will have to send for an electrician. Mother tried hard to change her son's habits, but what will be the answer? To no avail. Mangoes from Ratnagiri are always, yes, the only one answer is remaining now. What is that? In great demand. So children, revise these activities once. Write it down in your notebook and try to learn more homophones and try to complete the workshop activities from your textbook. So children, it was a very good opportunity to interact with you all. I hope you have understood the story. Read the story once again. Find the meanings of new words that you find in the lesson. Try to understand the lesson better. Reading it again and again. And it was a very beautiful story which tells us, which gives us the values to be perfect in our work, to do our work with dedication, and of course, we have to do our best in whatever we do. And the reward will be always based on our work. Thank you so much. Thank you.